I'm hoping this works and I'm praying. But today, I am going to do a little birth chart analysis off the dome for Queen B, mother of the Renaissance, mother of the House of Renaissance, Beyonce. Okay, let's get into it. Also, this is my first YouTube video, so please don't blame me, don't judge me, okay? Like, I'm new to this. Okay, so this is her birth chart. So I use sidereal calculations. And I use whole signs, by the way, just so people can know. Um, but this is her birth chart. Um, and first of all, one of the craziest birth charts I've ever seen. That big first house stellium, the North Node conjunct midheaven. Like everything about this chart is just crazy to me. But yeah, she's a Leo sun, Libra moon, and Virgo ascendant. And I put these as like her major aspects. So these are the ones I really want to talk about. I do want to talk about um her midheaven aspects too, but we're gonna get to that later. So she is a Leo sun. Now, typically, um, I feel like she embodies the archetype of a Leo, right? She is dramatic, she's theatrical, she's expressive, she attracts attention easily. She is an entertainer, right? Leo's a sign of artistic expression. Same with Pisces and Libra and Taurus to an extent, but Libra, not Libra, Leo is the expansive, like uh, on stage, like all eyes on me. I'm the center of attention type of like attention, if that makes sense. Um, but yeah, these are the people who enjoy being in the spotlight. You know what I mean? Like these are the people who really enjoy um all eyes being on them and entertaining people. But here's the catch. Her son is in the 12th house. Now, there's actually a few artists who have this placement too. Like, I know Rihanna has it. And basically, with this placement, I think this is one of the placements that can explain why she's so private into herself and much more introspective than we truly know. Um, 12th house sons tend to be very reclusive. Like, they like to be to themselves. They are typically in moments of introspection. Um, they need time away to regenerate their juices because sometimes like her being that Leo essence, being out there, being on stage, can sometimes exhaust her and be her self undoing because the 12th house is the house of self undoing. So she might need those moments to just step back, be like, hey, like I gotta put me first. Like but this is a creative placement. This is also a placement for psychic abilities, or a person who's very in tune with like the masses, energies and stuff like that. I'm hoping I'm making sense, but yeah, this makes sense. This makes sense. Oh, let's get into that Virgo ascendant. Okay, so um Virgo ascendant people tend to be very, very methodical, very meticulous, very calculative, and very logical. These are the people who tend to be very like um perfectionistic. Virgo placements are always um when they want something done, they want it done the right way, in the proper way. And she also has Saturn in the first, so and it's also in Virgo, so that also really leans into that. But basically, with how she views the world, she views this world in this way. She views the world as like how she lives life. She wants things to be in order, and this can explain why she's a workaholic. Virgo rules the sixth house, and the sixth house is the house of work. So she um her work, her job is a big part of her identity, her life. And especially with her having Saturn in the first two, like Saturn rules your career as well. It rules the 10th house. So, that could be somebody who's very career oriented. And so, yeah, this makes so much sense. There's a whole bunch of videos of Beyonce being quote unquote bossy, or her being a hard worker. That's like a part of her reputation, being a hard worker. And I think her 10th house ruler, her 10th house ruler, Gemini, is ruled by Mercury, and that Mercury's in the first. And I believe that Mercury's conjunct Saturn. Yeah, so that automatically could explain why her reputation, that midheaven, is associated with hard work being conjunct that Saturn. Um, but yeah, let's get into them ascendant aspects, okay? So, she has ascendant conjunct Venus. Now, this is a beauty placement. This is one of the prime indicators for physical attractiveness. Literally, people who are considered to be the most beautiful people or most attractive people in the world have Venus in the first house. Bella Hadid is considered the most beautiful woman in the world. Venus conjunct ascendant. I think she has like Venus and Moon conjunct ascendant in Leo or something like that. Beyonce. Rihanna has Venus and Moon in the first. And these are people who are widely regarded as gorgeous because Venus, the first house represents our physical body. It represents how we come off to the world. And so when you have that Venusian energy, these people tend to be very like, it's like everybody considers them attractive. You know what I mean? Like everybody's beautiful in their own regard, but these are those type of people who have that conventional beauty. Um and this is also a placement that gives a person a lot of grace. A lot of um the way how they move their body could just be very alluring to people. And also people with this Venus in the first tend to have very beautiful bodies. Tend to be very like physically just embodying Aphrodite. Basically, that's like the biggest thing with it. Um, and their creative talents are typically always on display. Like they are actively going to express their creativity because Venus rules that creativity. And then with that Venus being conjunct, that Pluto and Jupiter, with Venus conjunct Jupiter people, they tend to attract a lot of money. It's easy for them to attract resources, wealth. Um, this is one of the greatest aspects to really have in astrology because you're bound to just have an expansive amount of material of wealth because Venus rules our values, the things we own, our materials, and Jupiter rules expansion and prosperity. So, using her creative talents gives her wealth. Um, and then also with Venus conjunct Pluto, she's obsessed in her relationships. This can be a person who's very passionate, intense, especially with that Pluto being conjunct ascendant. She can be intimidating to a lot of people, and this uh Pluto conjunct ascendant can also explains why she has such a vitriolic people have such I don't know if this is the right word, but vitriolic reactions towards her. Like people either really love her or really hate her. Um, and Pluto rules is the planet of extremes. So, um, yeah, this can create a person who can be very polarizing to people. Even though I thought she's a very chill, she seems very chill. Like she seems very relaxed. Like she doesn't seem like somebody who's very like, who has like a, or at least projects this really strong personality. But it's just the way how she carries herself, just can really rile up intense emotions into people. This is also a sex appeal placement. People are very sexually expressive. Um, self-titled partition. Like, come on, like, um, and then what else is in this first house? Oh yes, that Mercury. Yeah, this is a person who's also very intelligent. Mercury in the first house, people are very intelligent. Um, and these people tend to be very like logical. You know what I mean? Like mind before they tend to use their mind before their heart, which is a big thing with displacement. And then yeah, let me scroll past that. All right. Now that midheaven in Gemini. Now, people with displacement tend to be, as it says right here, the jack of all trades. Gemini likes to exert its energies in many different places at once, and this can explain why she's the jack of all trades. She's a singer, dancer, um, songwriter, vocal producer, actress, director. And she owns like Parkwood or something like that. So it's like a big like that's that Gemini energy, just having different sources of revenue. And since the midheaven rules our career, um, our public image, this is how she comes off to people. Um, and she has a pretty major aspect to that midheaven. She has her North Node conjunct that midheaven, even though it is an out of sign conjunction. Um, that's still big. You know what I mean? Because typically people with North Node conjunct midheaven tend to live very like um, the North Node is kind of unstable energy. You know what I mean? Like it can it goes too far with things, and so sometimes especially you give massive amounts of fame, um, massive amounts of just attention, And so this could also be a placement where somebody's destiny lies within their career, lies within their public image. Um, she is most definitely living out her destiny. Like, this is what was written in the stars for her. She was supposed to be a star. She was supposed to be somebody who is just widely known. Um, and especially with that Uranus trine, that midheaven, this could be somebody who further evolves in their career. When you have a positive aspect to your midheaven, um, this could create um somebody who is able to change directions, and people will agree with it. They'll get along with it. Like, they'll be like, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool." This gives a person versatility. Um, this gives a person freedom. That's another thing. People need to understand that positive aspects to your midheaven can get freedom in regards to that planet. And so she's able to, like, with this Uranus trine midheaven, she's able to drop a surprise album and the internet blows up. And she can only, that is such a Uranus trine midheaven thing, or a Uranus midheaven thing, because it's just like Uranus is surprises. And she's using that element of surprise in her career, that midheaven. And so, like, that is major. Like, I feel like this is like one of the biggest aspects that can explain her career trajectory, and also can explain her having such a what's the word I'm looking for? Like, in each and every single one of her albums, it's different. You know what I mean? Like, she can have a dance and house album. She can have a country album. She can have a contemporary R&B. She can have a pop. She can have a rap album, and it all, people will agree with it and they ride with it because that there's that harmonious energy, um, with that Uranus. She's able to trailblaze. I think Michael Jackson also had this placement too. Like, you're able to trailblaze. You're able to innovate without many boundaries being placed on you. This is a very beautiful aspect. I love this aspect. Um, and since Uranus rules large groups of people, this can relate to fame. Large groups of people, um, being gravitated towards her in a public way. Especially with that moon too. Moon also rules the public. Like, Uranus rules mass groups of people, and your moon rules like the public. So, as you can see, with having both of those trying that midheaven fame, that Leo sun can also explain her fame. Um, North Node conjunct midheaven. North Node in the 11th, Mars in the 11th. Like, destined for this stuff. I believe that might be everything. Yeah, that's everything. I'm trying to think of what else I want to talk about. Oh, Moon conjunct Uranus. This is also a placement that is very reminiscent of somebody who is very, like, um their emotional nature can be very fickle. These are people who tend to be very emotionally intelligent as well. That could be a big thing with this placement. But this also relates to somebody who could be kind of a little cold in regards, not cold but detached. This could relate to somebody who also had a lot of freedom in childhood. Um, or if they didn't have that freedom, they were rebellious. Like, they wanted to strike out on their own and divulge in their own path, whether their parents liked it or not. But I know Beyonce had really supportive parents. That moon trine midheaven can explain her family supporting her career endeavors. That could be a major thing. Um, so she got lucky. That is one major thing. She's really lucky, like, especially because she has that Jupiter um conjunct ascendant and Venus and Saturn. Like, she is a person who just has lived a very lucky life. Like, she gets what she wants. And yeah, that's crazy. I'm just looking at this right now, I'm like, wow, I'm gagged. Like, oh my god. Um and then she has Moon conjunct True Lilith. And this is a big placement for sexuality. Somebody who's in tune with their deep feminine um primal urges. Especially with that being Scorpio, very intense. Like this lady a freak. Like, no shade, like like, yeah. Um and I believe that is everything, really. This is my first YouTube video, so I'm probably gonna redo this in the future when I, like, learn how to use all this. But yeah, that's it for that. And I hope to see you on the flip side and subscribe, like, do whatever. Like I don't know how this shit work, but yeah.